Hey, welcome. This is Frisky Biscuit. As someone famously said, I can't remember what she said, but it was funny as hell, and I'm going to have her say it again here pretty soon. Guess what? We are on location today, and I have my trusty cohort here.
Lisa.
And she's right here with us. And we are going to do something brand new today. We've been talking about people that we live next door to for a long time, making fun of them, giving them a bunch of crap. And they got an opportunity now to get back at us because they're with us today. We have Dr. Tim Thompson and his beautiful wife, Sylvia, with us. And keep an eye on Sylvia. We gotta watch out for her. She discovered these miniature bikes and is terrorizing the campsite this morning. So we're gonna get rolling here. And Lisa, you got all kinds of stuff for us today. So what are we going to start with?
Yeah, today we're going to talk about summer traditions because every family has different traditions, different people do different things, and we're going to talk about some of the states that have a tradition every year and talk a little bit about our traditions, like what we've done in the past. I know Gary and I started a tradition that's really fun. We go to a beautiful lake and we have these little bikes and we terrorize people too. So it's a lot of fun. So that's what we're talking about today.
Very good. And when we talk about traditions, are we talking about like Thanksgiving traditions, things like that? Or are we talking about traditions that you just do the same thing every year, and it's no change, no variance at all? Or is it
both. Like North Carolina, their tradition in July is everybody goes out to their house and they rummage through their garages and they get their tree toppers for their Christmas trees and they bring them out every July. And in North Carolina, that's what they do. And things like Arizona, they have an egg frying contest every year. They've done it for 32 years. And everybody goes out on the sidewalk and fries their eggs. Wow. So there's different traditions in different states.
Where we're located, and I'm sure our guests would agree, and you could fry an egg here yesterday afternoon. It was beautiful weather right now, and unfortunately I haven't got a camera where we can see it because I want these people's faces all over the place. So you can kind of see in behind them a little bit. But there's this beautiful lake view, and Lisa this morning got up and said that she thought it looked kind of like a homeless shelter out there. It kind of does. I've never seen people haul so much crap around in my entire life just to have fun on a weekend. And then she said, funny thing about this, nobody steals anything around these campsites. And no wonder they don't, because they don't have to. They already own everything.
Yeah. And the beautiful part about campers too is they're all respectful of their neighbors after 10 o'clock. They'll make all kinds of crazy noises. Their dogs will be barking. The kids are all on their hoverboards. And then at 10 o'clock, it's amazing, they all stop. I don't know, there's like a unset ruling in campgrounds.
Totally. Well, let's introduce our guests.
Okay.
Let's introduce them and let them have at us here today.
Well, let's start with
this is probably the last
Sylvia.
time. This could be the very last time they ever speak to us, so let's enjoy it.
Sylvia and Tim Thompson. Sylvia, tell us just a little bit about yourself.
Well, I didn't grow up in the States, but I did grow up in southern Alberta, Canada, and we had a really fun tradition, probably about 90 minutes away drive from where I lived. We had a beautiful national park named Waterton Park, or called Waterton Park. And we used to go there every summer. We would pack up our stuff and just go for the day. We'd do hikes and just all kinds of really fun things. Eventually my dad bought a cabin there, and so we would go there for weekends. My mom would always make a beautiful pie. We'd have chili burgers, potato chips, potato salad, all the good stuff.
Well, wait a minute. You said you had chili burgers?
Yes.
That sounds awfully dangerous to me.
Oh, they were yummy. It was my mom.
You people were brave people.
It was my mom's own recipe. But the thing about Waterton Park, it is on the northern edge of Glacier Park in Montana.
Oh, so it's gorgeous.
And it's gorgeous. So it's just like Glacier Park. But it has a beautiful lake there, a beautiful hotel on the hill called the Prince of Wales Hotel, and lots of stores. but it's a smaller version. It's kind of like Banff National Park in Canada, but it's really fun, and there's lots of hiking, beautiful falls called Cameron Falls, and just.
And now you grew up in Canada. How did you end up in the States? How long have you been here?
Really, basically since high school. In the
Oh my
States.
gosh! So you've been here quite a long time. Okay, so you're half and half. You're half Canuck, half American flag.
I am, but I love Canada, but it's so cold, and I just really didn't want to live there. So I just did all my schooling in the States.
Nice.
I did
Forgive us, Trudeau, if we use the word Canuck impolitely.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I'm not sure if that's politically incorrect or not. We got to be so careful these days. That's one thing about our podcast. It's not politically correct. So, Sylvia, you can say anything you want to say.
And Tim, you did grow up here, right?
Yes, I have a lot less colorful background than Sylvia. I'm an Idaho boy through and through. I did live in Oregon for a dozen years for schooling and professional training. I have 4 great kids, and our family traditions were camping.
Oh, so this is just right up your alley.
We did a lot of camping on a much different scale than what we're seeing surrounding us here today with all of the accoutrements that are now available. Our biggest problem with this camping trip is our trailer's been in mothballs for 2 years, and when I went to put water in it, in spite of the fact that it was meticulously winterized, it leaked like a sieve. So we're living off the land with a nice trailer
I feel your pain.
Have water
I feel your pain. You know, people, that's one of the things. If you don't use them all the time, things happen, don't they?
They do.
Yeah.
They're like an airplane or a boat. You better be getting in it and cranking it up
Exactly.
frequently to make sure little bugs aren't starting to happen. And everything's made of plastic. And
he was telling us that. You know, when he lives next door to us, so we were watching him prep. The first thing he pulls it out of storage, and the roof's flying back on it, completely detached. He noticed he's got some rot in there, so he fixed that. And then there's something else going on. You discovered just before you left. What was that? There's kind of a big deal.
That was with the water.
The water.
Yeah.
So you couldn't even put water in it.
No.
Yeah,
but the roof is in great shape. I got that fixed.
You did a great job. This guy, if you want to do motorhome repairs, he's a dentist. But he's taking those dental.
All you anti-dentites out there, better watch it.
And even that repair, it almost looks like a denture glue or something that you use to put that roof back together.
It's a bond.
Does it feel good to get back in the camper and get out?
Yeah, it does. But it'll feel real good to go home and actually have a shower here in a couple of days. Too.
Yeah.
I know.
You guys won't want to be near us for another day or so.
I've been doing a spit bath this morning. That's lots of fun.
All right, too much information.
Who spit on who?
Yeah. And you have a dog along with you too.
We got the dog.
Where is Rudy? By
Rudy's
the way?
over in the hotel. He's in the house.
You weren't brave enough to bring him over here with all these cords laying around on the ground.
And you guys have met Rudy before. Rudy came to the podcast before you guys came to the podcast.
He stormed in and he made himself known there.
That's great. Well, as you learn how to, you're what I call a veteran camper. A lot of these people out here, we've enjoyed. One of the most enjoyable things that we do is watch people park, and that brings me great joy. Is just to watch somebody park their camper, because we see people out here. They got, honestly, last night right out here where we were, they got the side of this slide comes out, and then we looked over there, and there's this 60-inch television playing a basketball game, and they're all sitting out there watching a basketball game. We got this view out here, which I wish I could share it with everyone, but on TV it wouldn't do it justice anyway. And they're sitting there watching a basketball game with one. Did you see the sunset last night?
Yeah.
Man, I tell you what, it was beautiful. But they got probably $250,000 in rolling stock over there, and they're watching a basketball game, but they're camping. It's really changed a lot.
Well, and we love those campers that people rent, like the one that Robin Williams had. 2 of them came in last night, and it looked like they were going to head on.
Rent me.
It was great. I mean, that's our entertainment out here, is to watch people come in.
We're really showing people the kind of people we are, aren't we?
I know everybody does that.
Yeah, I think so. As long as you're secure in your space.
At first I thought it was a little strange, but then I realized that everybody does it. I mean, that's the thing to do, is watch all the newbies go and back up.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, as we're out here, what do you think that we're going to be noticing in camping? Tim, you say you're a traditional camper back with the family. I was too. I'm an old Idaho boy as well. And we used to go up in the Sawtooths and over there by where we are, Smoky, Big Smoky, Little Smoky, and the mountains up there. We had cabins, and a lot different than it is now. Have you noticed anything with the different kind of people that are camping? What's your hit on that?
Well, I think a lot of people are with the advent of COVID, they went out and bought themselves an RV, and they're going to go out and try to control their activities to a great degree. And they found out that they'd bit off a lot more than they could chew in a lot of cases. And I think there's a lot of RVs out there that maybe won't be used quite as much just because of the fact that they weren't willing to get themselves over that hump to truly experience the fun that you can have out here.
Well, just like watching the TV, the basketball
Exactly.
game, and rather than just get out and go for a walk. And the thing that I like about you guys, where we live in there in Twin Falls, we can see you walking your dog all the time, but you guys get out and actually do move around. Sylvia's probably been on 5 walks, and of course we lost our
Frisky Biscuit.
Frisky Biscuit just crashed on us. Hey, that's camping, right?
That's right. Expect the unexpected.
Expect the unexpected. That was Lisa's responsibility, by the way, and I did.
Yeah, you know what? We cleaned the van so well
yeah.
and had this ceramic coating that nothing sticks to it anymore. If you don't want bugs, if you don't want anything on your camper,
or a Risky
ceramic
Biscuit
coating's the way to
sign,
go.
don't worry about it. It's just ceramic coated, nothing will stick to it. We ought to be putting that on our frying pans and stuff.
Yeah, it goes on everything.
I know it.
F11, that's what we used to
We
use.
digressed. Where was I? We were talking about campers and the diversification of camping today. And Tim, what do you think? I'm just kind of interested in your opinion on where you think all this is going to go, because, like you said, a lot of these campers and a lot of these machines cost so much, and they're a lot of work to set up. Even a small one. I watched you set yours up the other day, and you know what you're doing, and it still takes a lot of time, and it's a lot of work, and it's hot, and you get grumpy, and you're tired from driving. And people watch this stuff on TV and they just hit a button and they think that's it. But even we hit buttons on ours and we had problems that we had to work around, So what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think the technology is certainly making it a lot simpler, that's for sure. But those of us that are kind of in the gap with the older technology, you've got to make sure your rig is totally level if you're going to run your propane or your gas. If you do have electric hookups, which I'm not used to having, we have it now, you can encounter some technological problems there with the types of cords you use.
Simple, yeah.
Things won't necessarily stay connected. But I think it's going to work itself out if the government can solve their fuel issue that they seem to be looking for now.
I was dancing around that.
Because if we can't tow, we can't go.
That's right. And one of the things,
a good bumper sticker.
That's true. And oh, by the way, if you guys hear a lot of noise in the background, we got somebody. I think, what is that over there?
That is
a
an
generator?
F-250 leaving.
Oh, leaving. That's
backing
leaving.
up,
Then if you hear
actually.
people
We'll see what
laughing and
happens.
kids screaming, that's our studio audience, and it's usually going to react when Sylvia says something. So we noticed that a while ago. And gotta give her a hard time.
Hey, no, since the three of you have been in Idaho for a long time, Idaho has its tradition too. And I thought it would be the tradition that South Dakota has, but it's not. South Dakota's tradition is every August, they put a whole bed of mashed potatoes and they have a mashed potato wrestling contest. I don't think any of you guys have ever done that, right?
Females only, I assume.
Yes.
That's a contest for Idaho, mashed potato wrestling contest.
Yeah, but Idaho has their own. Idaho has the fiddler contest.
Oh, yeah.
Have you been to that?
No, I haven't been there.
I didn't know that.
That's up in Weiser.
In Weiser, yeah, in
Old-time
June every
fiddlers.
year.
That's going on right now this weekend. Yeah, we're gonna miss that.
Yeah, well, maybe next year.
Yeah.
Maybe we can go live up at the Weiser and hear all those fiddlers up there.
Sylvia, have you been a camper any time in your life? Have you been a person who has been out camping in the woods like this, or campsites, or are you kind of new to this?
No, I'm kind of new to this. We had a camper growing up, but we used it more just to sleep when we were traveling. We went all across Canada to Expo 67. And that was when it was in Montreal. And we just basically used the camper as a means of having our meal. My mom would cook a meal on, we had the stove and everything, and then we'd just sleep. And where I got to sleep, because there was 7 of us, and I was the littlest, so I got the cab of the truck.
You're kind of like, well, I see what you've done with your dog. You kind of just to follow a tradition there. Yeah, Rudy sleeps in the
But, I mean, you can teach a dog new tricks. I am camping now, and that's fine.
What's your favorite part so far of camping?
I think that my favorite, if you have good friends to go with, that makes it really fun. And then if you have little things like, the bicycle, I think extra things that kind of...
Toys
that give you something to do during the day. But I love opening the windows at night, and I sleep like a log because it's cool, it's fresh air coming in, and I just crash.
Do you find that it's interesting to open up your blinds and see you're in a different place every time?
No, that's fine. I'm really adaptable that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
very
fine.
Good. Yeah.
What
Our
about
blinds don't work very well, so I don't know what kind of analogy.
Who's in charge of maintenance on your outfit?
Our facility, our trailer's a little bit on the older side, so it's okay.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It's retro though. That's kind of in.
Yeah,
it's pretty
the retro.
cool.
What about eating outside? That's one of my favorite things,
I
is
love
to
to eat
cook
outside.
the grill outside. Not necessarily the fire. I haven't really perfected that. Marshmallows are about the hit of it, but eating outside.
Oh,
A good solid campfire is a staple.
Yeah, a
Yep.
tradition, huh?
Later on in the year, we always have fire danger issues in Idaho.
Yeah.
And this almost always brings campfires to a close, unfortunately, and that ruins it for a lot of people, because campfires are a great thing to sit around and look at the stars at night.
Yeah.
I notice you're like the fire guy around here. We didn't have one last night. We can do that tonight?
Yeah, I've been saving it up. I only brought a limited supply of firewood.
When I was a kid, there's 2 things I look forward to, sparklers and a campfire.
We'll have our version, well contained and supervised.
That's the beauty of a lot of these campsites now, is they have a campfire pit for the wood, so it's not anybody just putting it out in the grass area.
Yeah, it's
is
more
great.
not to spread, but that way, if you have an actual pit,
Yeah,
it keeps it contained. And
So if you want to know the reason that as we're watching this podcast, was you look at Lisa, she's squinting, to see she hasn't got her big eyes open today.
I'm outside. I can put my cool ass glasses on though.
She put on her cool. Does that make a difference for you?
It does actually, yeah.
You look very cool.
Oh, good. I look very yellow, huh?
Yeah, very, very yellow.
Well, what's great about these is I can see because they have bifocals too. Although we won't talk about age. We'll skip over that one.
Are you insinuating there's a lot of bifocalism going on?
Bifocal and age. She's talking about age, and what the hell's that all about? We weren't going to talk about politics.
Traditions, baby.
I left my leisure suit in the other camp.
Yeah, Tim brought his day glow leisure suit. He's ready to go dancing with the beer ball.
And I brought my polyester dress.
There we go.
Hey, in Ohio, they have a great festival that you might want to go to, because you've talked about this before too. In Ohio, they have the Duct Tape Festival.
Oh yeah.
So they have a whole tradition of whatever you can do. They have a ball that you can go to with duct tape. You make your costume and you go to it. Have you thought about doing that this trip?
No, but my son and his now wife did that for the high school prom. So
duct tape.
I'll have to have Nathan watch this so he can be mentioned.
Yeah.
It was
Hi, Nathan.
completely made out of duct tape, the tuxedo and the dress.
One of the lessons I've learned, I have been able to shake this one guy. I got this spider hanging right off the end of my, and ever since I wore a Dayglow shirt last night, every gnat in the campground has fallen in love with me and has a crush on me. I could never wear one of the lessons I've learned is never wear a Dayglow green shirt when you're camping. Oh my God.
Unless you're in a float tube.
Exactly.
Here come the bugs and here come
the fish. Exactly.
Yeah. I know of another tradition in another state where I lived in Indiana, they have, it's called the Popcorn Festival. Orville Redenbacher, who
that sounds
is
good.
famous for popcorn, as you all well know, lived there in Valparaiso, Indiana. And I lived in that area for a few years. But every September, we have a big parade and a big popcorn, celebrating Orville Redenbacher. So I just thought I'd mention that.
Popcorn, I'd love a popcorn festival. I wish somebody out here had a concession stand. You know what I miss right now? Corn dogs. I know Tim's a big
That's
corn
a good
dog
tradition.
connoisseur as well.
Yes.
Summer tradition.
Yeah.
And going to the fair, and I think here in Idaho, we go to the rodeo. Like every year, everybody goes to the rodeo. You get popcorn and you get a corn dog.
And we screwed that up last time, Tim. We were talking about it, and I know we walked right by that thing, and we went to the rodeo, and we never got a corn dog.
We ate too much on the way in. That was the problem.
Oh, that's right. I remember.
That's true.
Yeah.
We do like to eat.
We'll make up for it this year.
Yeah, the Gooding Rodeo. God, what a great rodeo that is, though, man. I tell you what, if you've never been to the Gooding Rodeo, it's a good one. What else you got on your list there?
Well, we have some other traditions. We have one in Wisconsin. And in 1991, this guy got the award, and it hasn't been surpassed since then. And they have a dried cow dunk, and you go and you hit it as far as you can hit it. How far do you think this guy hit it? His name was Greg, I think it's Newmeyer. Excuse me if I'm pronouncing it wrong. And he chunked his chip a phenomenal, how many feet do you think?
Is Frisky Biscuit?
Yeah, it's Frisky Biscuit. 248 feet.
Man, I tell you what, Tim, you could learn some things on that with that golf swing of yours. Using practice with a cow turd once in a while.
I
That probably,
once threw a tongue depressor 48 feet 6.5 inches.
leave it to a mad guy. Have a
And it was
And
in
held
the
the world record.
And it was in the
momentarily.
newspaper.
In Portland, at the desk.
How far did you say?
48 feet 6.5
A
inches.
tongue depressor.
Tongue depressor.
How did you get that thing to do that?
I had a special overhand technique, made it spin and float.
Wow.
Got it out there.
And how long did you practice that?
10 minutes.
You are a true pro. Wow. We have a
It was
true
an annual
pro.
event at the Medical Dental School in Portland, Oregon back then.
So we have a celebrity among
crazy.
us.
Too funny.
Oh man, I tell you what.
You didn't
That
think I'd
sounds
say anything
impossible.
about that now, did you?
I love it.
I don't know where that came from.
Well, in California, there's a great festival, and you said you've been to it, actually. It's in Gilroy, and it's a garlic festival.
Oh, the garlic festival in Gilroy, California. I tell you what, if you like garlic, have you guys ever been there? That is the
No,
most.
I'd
Where is
avoid that like the
Gilroy?
plague.
Gilroy's just south of San Jose,
Okay.
and that garlic, they garlic ice cream, garlic everything. You can wear garlic. They got garlic clothes.
Oh my gosh.
You know, it's amazing.
Did you try the garlic
And
ice cream?
the safe thing about it is there's no vampires there.
Gonna say. Not a one.
There you go.
Not a one vamp. Of course, there's not a lot of people kissing there either.
I
But
bet.
God, it's an amazing thing. It sounds boring. It sounds like, really?
Sounds like I'd be clamoring to get out of there.
I know, but it's very cool. It's one of those things you got to do once in your life, you know.
So
So,
people actually wear garlic dresses and garlic
they-
outfits?
garlic jewelry, everything garlic.
Wow.
Yeah, it's cool, and it smells really good. You just get hungry. And there's hamburgers joints there, on the food trucks and stuff. They're specialized in garlic burgers, and I'm telling you what, you leave there, you're not right for a month.
You know who's been there and who hasn't, right?
Pretty much.
Well, Maine has an interesting one too. I thought this was great. This is in Rockland, Maine, and they have a lobster crate because Maine's known for their
Oh, yeah,
lobsters.
yeah.
And so you have to jump across these crates, and if you miss a crate or you miss it or the crates move too much, you fall into the Atlantic. And the Atlantic never gets warm. Like nobody ever really goes swimming in the Atlantic. And this guy was only 12 years old back in 2008, and he has kept the tradition going, and he is the winner. He crossed 4,500 crates without falling in.
Oh my gosh.
So when you go to Maine next time, you might want to go to that.
4,500, that's a lot.
That
That's every
makes log
summer.
rolling look simple.
It does.
That is amazing. That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
God, I wonder if the guy's had knee surgery yet.
Well, he was 12 in 2008, so
Yeah.
he's getting up there.
And make sure you didn't step on Larry.
Exactly. Exactly. Good Lord, that's crazy.
And another one is in Bend, Oregon, where your son lives in Bend, and your grandson, who we haven't heard from you guys lately.
I must be doing it right.
Yeah.
Of course, this podcast is going to blow things up, I know, because for outdoor broadcasting, my grandson's going to have a lot to say about the lighting and the camera angles and the wires and the clutter.
Okay, we look forward to hearing from you.
The clutter. Morgan Daniel, who's a really sharp young guy, he's got his own podcast. He's basically developing his own video company, and he's 13 or 14 now.
Yeah. And Morgan,
He thinks he's 15, but he did correct it on one of his videos.
Yeah, he's somewhere along that. I guess it doesn't really matter because you're so good at what you do. And in July, where you live, there's a pet parade every year. And you can bring anything. You can bring your goat. You can bring your lizard. You can bring Rudy.
This is in Bend?
In Bend. Every July. So it's the July pet parade.
I love that.
Can you imagine, like, having your snake on a leash? Come on.
Iguana.
Don't eat the dog.
Iguana walking down Main Street with your iguana. That sounds like a lot of fun to
There we
me.
go.
That's Oregon.
They'll control the bugs.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Or the traffic.
And this one I want to go to next year. It's in Wyoming, and it's happening around this time right now too. It's in June, and it's in Cheyenne, and it's a Celtic festival. They have art and music, so they get rid of all their cowboy gear and they put on their kilts.
You got to remember to wear their underwear.
Yeah.
Please do.
Watch out. The
Don't
wind
be
blows.
parading around like that. You got kids here, children.
Gotta watch out. God, remember to wear that underwear.
So that's all their summer traditions. Every state has a summer tradition. We only went through a few of them. But I want to encourage everybody to get out there, whether it's getting a map and throwing a dart at where you're going to go that summer, or going to a lake, or just some type of summer tradition, watching fireworks. Everybody ought to have something that they do every summer.
We've kind of started summer traditions. Not mowing the lawn. We've not cleaning the house. Not washing the cars, not doing anything, just going out and doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
this is fun.
Well, we ceramic coated, so we don't have to do
Yeah,
that
we don't even have to
anymore.
put stickers on the side of this thing
We drove
anymore.
in 15 miles of dirt road, and there's not a speck of dust on that thing. Now go figure.
Isn't that amazing?
That does not compute.
It doesn't. And then Tim thought I washed this thing every day, and I don't. We haven't washed it in months. Yeah, ceramic coating, everybody. Put it on everything.
If you get a new car, that's the first thing that they say to do now is ceramic coat, and you'll never really have to wash your car again. The older cars are already pitted, it's a little bit hard, but a brand new car,
that's
all those
amazing.
electric vehicles that we're going to have to buy,
Yeah.
that's the way to go. Your bicycle.
Boy, Tim and I,
Maybe it'll
let's not
help
get going on that one.
Might help it keep a charge if it's
All you
coated.
people in
You'll go
California,
faster.
bring all those nice cars that you're going to have to get rid of here in a few years. Bring them up to Idaho, and we'll have cars to drive for a while.
That's right.
Yeah, or go find a moose and just go on the back of the moose. Come on, guys.
I just thought
my moose in here.
I just realized looking at that cup. Guess what, everybody? We get to make fun of Lisa as she does a commercial for herself.
Okay. Moose Eye Grantology. If you are a nonprofit and you are requiring money this year, you can give us a call, give us a shout out on our website, mooseeyegrantology.com, and we will look at your organization and see if you're prepared and ready to find a grant for you. What we do is we go and we find out first all about your organization, how it's set up, make sure that it's set up and is running functionally in order to find a grant. And then we go and find a grant and we pattern it with your organization. So if that's something that you're looking for, give us a shout out on our website, mooseeyegrantology.com.
Very good. You flawlessly did that.
Thank
All
you.
I can say about Lisa and a Moose Eye Grantology is that I've been watching her do this with several companies now, and she does a great job. There is a ton of money out there for people, and everybody's whining and bitching and moaning about no money for their companies. And there are so many grants for everywhere from solar projects to hiring new people and training. So let her.
And there's a
find
lot of
you.
money that's just sitting there. There was money that I talked to a gentleman, about a month ago, and they were calling him, begging him to put a grant together because the money was going to run out. And if the money runs out, it just goes back to this one in particular went back to the federal government. Whether it's the federal government or foundation, the money doesn't get circulated. So I encourage you that if you are in that situation, and even organizations that have a lot of grants, there's a lot of money out there that's just sitting there. It's just you've got to pattern yourself to make sure that you're set up with what they're giving and put it together, kind of like a magnet.
I'm curious, as we talk about money, we got Tim here. How long have you been a dentist now, Tim? In the dental business?
I can't count that high anymore. 40 some odd years.
So how do you see that business going with the way things are changing? Because the whole medical business is so different now. You being the road warrior you are, an old camper, and watching things change, but even in your business, it seems like the dental business is one of the last holdouts in the medical profession. The guy can actually have a private practice and do okay.
Technology has been changing rapidly. That's happened ever since I've been in dental school. If you stay ahead and keep with it, then you'll succeed. And it's a challenge for new practitioners, especially in dentistry, because the cost of education has gone absolutely bonkers, as you all know, not just for your college education, but for professional education.
Yeah.
And so the challenge will be to compete and survive in a world that is going to be largely dominated by corporate practices. And I personally feel that corporate is not necessarily best. Find yourself a well-experienced, well-grounded person that cares about you, the individual, and you will be happy with the care you get.
And boy, that follows truth that night. Well, it's true, and we've seen that happen in the medical business. And then, of course, Sylvia works with her husband, and she's a dental hygienist. You've been doing that for how long?
35-ish years.
And their marriage has survived, and she actually just cleaned his teeth. So, and
darn good thing.
And they're still together.
Do you see your field changing or have changed over the years? More equipment, different equipment?
Some minor changes, but I think a lot of it's the same. And I will notice with a new hygienist, so they have different instruments that I had. I went to hygiene school back in like 79 through 81. So instruments have changed, but I kind of stick with a lot of the same because I know it works.
Yeah.
Some things have changed, like the fluoride treatments. Now fluoride varnishes is what we do now.
A fluoride varnish.
A little bit different.
I wonder if that's like ceramic coating.
Yeah.
It kind of is.
It is.
For your teeth.
Harden them up, make them strong.
And do you take classes?
We yes, to be licensed, we do about 30 continuing ed classes, 30 credits, excuse me, which would equate to about 2 days, 4 days?
4 days.
4 days every 2 years. So that's, we need to keep up with the classes to keep our licenses active.
Boy, I'm going to bring up a sore subject. I know this is for dentists and doctors. You know, what you just said, education and up to the minute versus going to Mexico. And I know so many people that have traveled down to Mexico. When I was in Arizona, that was a big deal to sojourn to Mexico and then come back with these disastrous stories.
Yeah.
And then a local guy would have to clean it up. So that
happens.
Yeah, we're off the subject here a little bit, but these guys are our neighbors. We know them. Probably one of the best dentists I've ever met, and they're in Twin Falls, been there for years. And maybe I'll be brave enough to have Sylvia clean my teeth here pretty soon. Watching her ride that bike out there, I'm not so sure.
I still like what I do.
Well, I think that right there is amazing.
I still really like what I do.
And that is 90% of it. If you love your people and love what you do, then there's going to be a good job, and it's going to be good. But so many people, especially in almost every business, all they want to do is go screw around and play. They want people to pay them, but they don't want to put the service through and take care of people. So
maybe from the older generation, maybe that says something. I don't know.
I think it has a lot to say.
You know, Tim, you said corporates are taking over. What percentage are corporate now, dentists?
I don't have any statistics on that, but I know that the younger dentists, when they graduate, do have such a debt load that they find it nearly impossible to be able to finance a private practice.
Oh.
And so a lot of them are hired in a corporate setting because there's a ready-made job for them. The problem with that is they aren't the captain of their own ship. They're an employee.
Right.
And so to me, that's the shortcoming with that sort of a setup.
Well, and they have to follow the rules of the corporate, not
That's
necessarily what they may want to follow. Yeah.
And corporate has to do so many per hour. Is that part of it?
There are probably some incentives and some limitations on what they're able to do. And when you're in your own setting, you let your conscience be your guide, and I think you develop quite a relationship with all of your patients, and you make sure that you do the best for them that you can do.
I've never been to a corporate dentist. I've always had a.
You almost went to one though, and then decided.
I did, you know.
Because they were shoving.
That's true.
They were shoving services down your throat, and you said, "This isn't what I want." They tried to overpower you, and you said, "Never mind."
Yeah, I walked in the door, and they said, "You have to do this. You have to do this. You have to do this," and they kept giving me a whole list, and I'm like, "No. I only want to have my teeth cleaned. I do not want all these other facility or services." And they were like, "Well, you have to." I'm like, "No, I don't." So I left.
She has a tendency to do that if she doesn't like what she's doing. I keep a firm grip on her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it was just wrong. I mean, it was just wrong that you have to do this and this and this, and I was just like, no. Yeah. And I think a lot of people would have just said, okay, and my bill would have been $300-400 just to go get my teeth cleaned. I was like, no. So.
Well.
Anyway.
Well, there's a standard of care that needs to be followed, and certainly there are many things that need to be done to properly diagnose a patient and take care of them. But in some cases, there's a lot of selling that goes on as well. And that's just my personal opinion.
Well, that's
kind of
true.
like buying a car, huh?
Not endorsed by the ADA or anybody else.
Well, I guess all businesses are like that.
Well,
a lot of them. Add on.
We all have to sell our services in some way because that's, you're looking for business. But the point of it is the new model of selling services is now high pressure and leverage and all these kind of things rather than service and relationships. And I think everybody has to build a relationship, even with their patients. I certainly did with mine. And if you don't, they're gone. But these corporate operations, they just rely on numbers, it looks like. So, well, we got off the camping subject, but I wanted Tim to just, because people watch and they go to dentists, and I know his integrity, and let him talk on that subject, because I hear some of the people I talk to talking about those kinds of things and not understanding what's going on, especially in the medical business. The doctors we go to kind of trapped in their employee status now rather than have a service status. And so if you're out there, and by the way, if you're a camper and you're a dentist or a doctor or a professional out there and want to talk about some of these things, just let us know here on Frisky Biscuit. In fact, why don't you do your job now and show them that sticker?
Yes, our Frisky Biscuit sticker for all you road warriors out there. Anybody that's out on the road traveling, that if you're motorhoming.
Up just a little bit.
We got my camera going now.
Yeah.
I have to look at the little red dots.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is our sticker, and it is great. We'd love to see you and give it to you. You can always also find us on our website, which is www.frisky-biscuit.com, and it has everything on there. It has all our podcasts, several of our podcast channels, such as Stitcher and Spotify and Apple and Google. Actually, any of the podcast channels, there's about 20 or 30 of them. You can probably find us on Frisky Biscuit. We're on most of them. And on our YouTube channel, Frisky Biscuit Podcast.
Sylvia, what did you call this? What did you call
Sometimes I get my
Brisky Frisket?
My words mixed up, and I called it Bisky Frisket.
Bisky Frisket.
And it came out so fast I didn't even. And then Gary kind of looked like, what did you just say?
I kind of like it. It might go viral or something.
Biscuit,
we might have to change our
Bisky,
logo.
Bisky Frisky.
Yeah.
Oh, there's nothing like a Frisky biscuit.
That's true.
It's the
That's
best.
true.
We were shocked when, we always just ready, fire, and then aim. That's how we do stuff. And then we named this thing and trademarked it and looked at each other and says, I wonder what that actually means. And we looked it up and we found a porno shop that had our name. And
Yes. And when you Google it, they come up number one. For now, I think that we'll end up. We'll
change that.
We've had 1,100 downloads for our podcast, so it's starting to get pretty popular out there.
That's true.
Send us a quick link or a quick talk on our website, or better yet, go to our YouTube channel, Frisky Biscuit Podcast, and write to us. We'd love to meet up with you and talk to you and download, subscribe to. We can use all the subscribes that we can use.
Comments. And I have to remember the next time that I set this thing up not to have myself sitting at the exhaust for the water heater gas.
I know, you've had a few things now.
Like, whew. What was that? And it's natural gas from the water heater.
So you're getting high?
Nothing like camping, everyone.
Yeah.
You bet. Well, I tell you what, it's time for us to hit the road, and I really, really appreciate our guests being with us today, Sylvia and Tim Thompson. They've been a lot of fun, and we're going to do this again whether you want to or not.
We are about as inappropriate as it comes.
That's
so
about
thanks
right.
for having us here.
And you fit right in perfectly with us. So we're so happy that you are patient enough to come over and have fun with us. And now the rest of the day is on you because you're cooking, campfiring, and I don't know what we're eating tonight, but it was great last night. So you got any last words for us?
Just have a great time out there and find your own traditions of camping that you love, or summer traditions, and go out and have a great summer. Thank you. Thank you for watching.
Until next time, this is Dr. G and Lisa saying bye-bye, and make sure that you keep your Bisky Friskets or something like that. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sylvia.